Any luck? Oh, you've done really good.
So what we're doing is we're trying to break away from where we're seeing disturbances in the forest to try and find mushrooms, because like commercial people that go to the markets and that, they know these areas, so they come through these areas. Woo! So we're trying to find places where it's basic wawa, where more water would collect. It's been very dry, so the western desert region of Victoria, southwest Victoria, has had a lot of problems with drought recently. So we're trying to find areas that are low and areas that are dark, and then we're also trying to find areas where other people who have not been through and already harvested the mushrooms. G'day, it's Trev. It's been a crazy day. I've been 100 k's down the road foraging mushrooms. I've been working here on my trailer portaloo. I've been pushing my daughter on swings. I've been doing all sorts of stuff. So this is going to be a wrap up of cooking with mushrooms. So it's this simple. Right. So I went into the forest today, and I've managed to get a whole heap of slippery jacks, right? So that's that side, that's the yellow spongy underside, right? Now what we've got to do is I've got to wash. Ooh la la, looking a bit better, right? You'll know why they're called slippery jacks, because they're slippery. It's like slippery. So because I'm hell-bent on actually making decent YouTube and not just being a guy that the television keeps getting used for free year in, year out, I'm going to edit this and put it together and make it a bit nice. And that way you can see what's going on. So there's another nice little one there. Right, so these are washed. Right. So what we want to do is we want to peel off the slimy top. Right, it's not too hard to peel, but it is very like it. Do you know what it feels like? I know what to tell you it feels like. It feels like frog skin. That's what it feels like. It feels just like a nice green tree frog or something like that. It feels like frog skin. So we're going to peel that bit off, the slippery bit. Now I've actually got a I've got a whole heap of them. So I gave a bunch to our friends. Right, and I've just kept enough to cook with tonight. Now the other thing you want to do is this spongy little part here. Right, you want to remove the spongy part. So there's a bit of wastage. And that's what you're left with. Like that's from a little one obviously. And understanding that, like, I gave some really big, super good, huge ones away. So I'm just going to try and peel it off. It's very slippery. So I don't have my sharpest knife, which would be my hunting knife that my sponsor Global Weapon Systems gave me. This one's just like a reasonably sharp cooking knife, but not too sharp because my daughter uses knives now. She's gotten into cooking and stuff, which is very good. So So this is a slippery jack. So I'm not going to tell you exactly where I went, but I'm going to put in the video, I'm going to show you pretty close to where we went. So you see all like, this looks like sponge, like it's very much like scour sponge. That's how you know you're pretty well on the money. Right, it looks just like scour sponge, just finer air pockets, right? So, come on here. Slice that off. I'll tell you what, you give me 13 seconds, I am going to get my sharper knife. Purely because I don't want to waste this. I really want to cook this. I'm going to cook this in pure butter, and then I'm going to make like a carbonara to go with it. So just give me a second. Right, lovely. So it's a bit fiddly. I know I've got a chopping board somewhere. I don't know where it is. I've been so crazy busy helping people fight injustices with local governments, working full time, being a good dad, just doing everything. This is basically like the maintenance shack on my farm. It's got a little kitchenette in here, just so that if you're hungry or whatever, you know, you can cook yourself up a little feed. It's got a pot belly in the corner, so if it gets cold and you're fixing something, you know, you can have a crack. You're not going to be cold. So the absolute big stonkers, like I gave away, I don't know if I took an end picture, but you'll see a picture of how many I collected. Today I did quite well. I got into the zone. So with all these things in nature, it's like if you're spearfishing octopus, or no matter what you're doing, right, you get into a zone. If you're paying attention, you sort of like try and figure out what habitat your prey, be it, you know, an animal with eyes or a little mushroom hiding in the forest that doesn't want to be eaten. You sort of get the gist after a little while. You sort of realise what they like. So when I was walking out of the forest, there were people that have been quite unsuccessful today. They were all like, wow, how'd you get those? And it wasn't rocket science. I just sort of started finding them, and then I looked around and I was like, okay, whereabouts are we? You know, are we down in topography? Are we down? Are we up? You know, sort of, are they close to the tree bases? Are they out in the open? And then I just started hitting patches of them. So I gave away kilos of mushrooms today. Like I say, they're going to get made into a mushroom pate. So Magdalena, who's good friends with my daughter's mum, I gave them to her and I said, here you go, you can have all these. And she said, oh wow, thanks Trev. She says, I'm going to make a mushroom pate. And I was like, lovely. I said, well, if you pass the recipe along, well, I'll have a try it myself sometime. But yeah, I was only meant to be dropping my daughter off. They're all in the forest, and I had my daughter this weekend. So it was just convenient, instead of going all the way back to Melbourne, to just meet them in the forest and have a little play at the same time. And I love stuff like this. You don't know how much I love this. It's like I said in the video, That's a pump that you can hear kicking in for this King's hot water heater. It's a really good way if you're going to try and run like a little off-grid shack setup. You know, like this, you've got a little maintenance shack on your farm for fixing pumps and stuff like that. You know, it just makes it easier if it's freezing cold or whatever, or you're starving or whatever. You just got a little fridge in the corner with a couple of basics. You might have a couple of cans on the shelf. You know, you can wash your hands. You can make a cuppa, you know, and that way you don't have to, you know, go back to town in your house or go up to the farmhouse if you're on a farm with a house on it. You can just make it nice and easy. So it's really nice. Like I say, some of the mushrooms that I gave away were like that big, which you can imagine would be easier to peel and have a much higher yield. But I really like the people that my daughter's mum hangs out with. You know, they're all nice Melbourne people. They've all got nice jobs. You know, they're not toffee, which means up themselves. You know, my daughter's got good friends. You know, it's just nice. I'm like the weirdest one in the whole bunch. Whenever it's birthday parties or Christmas parties, it's like Steve Irwin's turned up. You know, you've got all these nice Melbourne professional hipster sort of people. And then you've got like the crazy bush tucker guy. And I'm not joking. But I thought it'd be nice to, like, you know, give it to all of them, because they're nice people. So yeah, so that's pretty good. And then I've got over here, I kept a full bag of ones that were sort of munched up, and then I cut off the bottoms. So all through here you'll see like this. Oh no, this is a big one. Where's the stem? Yeah, you see? So that'll give you an idea of the size. So I've cut all the bottoms off and I gave them all the tops. That way I've got the spores to put around pine trees on my farm. Whoop. Right, so I'm going to put all those little scraps into there. I'm going to munch it all up. That can all become hopefully something to inoculate my I've got stone pine trees and I've got casuarina. So I've got aloe casuarina literalis. That's the she oak that black cockatoos eat the seeds from. So I've planted them over my farm. Now, that's the only thing that's going to annoy you if you do one of these little off-grid setups, is that pump sound. Eventually it'll drive you crazy. So I'm just going to slice these babies up. I'm not going to bother lighting a fire or anything like that. I'm tired. I've been going like a madman. I did a foraging course for the 832 muster yesterday. So I taught them a bucket load about prepping and foraging. My daughter and I were selling soaps, so we've got Dad and Daughter Soaps is our little dad and daughter cottage business for our farm. So this is going to be really simple. So we're just going to heat up a pan, salted butter. Butter's better. Don't believe the hype. Butter puts hair on your bum. So I'm going to cut off like a good knob of butter. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a good pinch of salt at the bottom of that pan. And then this is Australian black peppercorn. So this is called Tea Lancelotta. So this is mountain pepper from down Tasmania. So I'm just going to be cheeky. I'm just going to crack that in the pan. like I say, it'd be nice to make it fancier, but I'm tired and I'm hungry. So, there's our butter. This is a bit of the mushroom I harvested. Here's my little swirl and a swirl. So I'm just going to saute those mushrooms down for a bit. Oh, I love the taste of that salt. That's some dishes I didn't do earlier. I've been a busy boy. Right, so we're just going to give these a good cook. Have a look at this. I love cooking. If you ever come to do one of my bushcraft courses or something, one thing you're going to find out is I did years and years and years as an outback tour guide, and Trev loves to cook, especially when there's like big tables and lots of people. I love to feed. There's always a good feed and lots of it. So I'm just going to let that have a good all cook in there. I love this life. I love living like this. I love playing with wife. I love seeing shooting stars. I spent like 1 year bathing in Norval Dam when I first moved out here. 1 year. Can you imagine that? 1 year, your bath is a dam. And I liked it. I really liked it. I didn't like it in winter so much. Right. I'm just going to let those cook for a couple of minutes. And then I'm going to make amazing chicken and bacon carbonara. What's the recipe, Trev? Oh, I thought you'd never ask. Oh, you need to get all of these special ingredients and blah, blah, blah. Go to Audi. I told you, I'm hungry, I'm tired. Sometimes you just got to have a bit of a cheap meal. This is going to be nice. There's a couple of cheap meals that I do buy out of the packet. Just simply because sometimes, you know, you just get that busy just doing work. You don't have time to do a big 1 hour meal. You know, you can jazz it up a bit. You know? But do you want to spend an hour cooking? You know, if people are coming or whatever, yeah, no worries. You know? But otherwise, you know, I rather, sometimes you just got to get the work done. You know, you just got to get as much done as you can. There's a thing I heard called the week. Imagine if there was 1 week in your life where like 12 or 15 hours a day, you became as efficient and productive as you possibly could. Imagine what difference that would make to your life that week. So they're looking pretty tasty. Can't wait to eat this now. So there you go. You can see they're all sort of starting to get nice and brown. I wonder what Eric's doing. Eric, what are you doing? And what's Tyler Blanchard doing? What are you guys up to? I hope we get to catch up again one day. I did the 30-day challenge with Eric versus Mr. Beast of all people. Incredible, right? And I did 2 days of the 30-day challenge. And those guys, Tyler and Eric, they're awesome. Like, we were with each other 24 hours a day, you know. And in the outback, and we went to Kangaroo Island. I drove like 2,500, 3,000 kilometres in like 2.5 days or something. It's just crazy, right? And yet Eric and Tyler, like, people would spot them in Cooper Pedy, you know, where the opals are in the middle of the outback in South Australia. People would recognise them. And they'd be like, hey man, I know you, I've been watching you for years. You're the bomb, man, blah, 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 blah. And it didn't matter if it was 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or any other time in between. Eric and Tyler had all the time in the world to be nice to people. You couldn't believe it. You couldn't believe it. You figure, like, Eric's got 16 million followers. You know, even Tyler can get, like, Mr. Beast to do videos with him, and, like, he can get Mr. Beast to be his thumbnails. You know, like, those guys, they're nice guys, and they're playful guys, but, like, they're pretty big time in that stuff. Humble as pie. Humble as pie. I really hope I get to catch up with them and do something else again one day. You know, I'd really like that. Oh man, the proof is going to be, well, they say the proof's in the pudding, but I think the proof's going to be in the carbonara. So, let's see. Oh, wow. What a big day. What a beautiful day. You know, it was really nice foraging these mushrooms with my daughter's mum in a forest. So my daughter's mum is Greek, and so my daughter's half Greek. So, like, we always go and collect olives every year, and then we make olive oil, and we make, like, pickled olives and stuff like that. And we broke up years ago, but we respect each other. We do great co-parenting. It's really like, you know, it is what it is. I'd love it if I could live in the same house 7 days a week with my daughter, but we don't. But we make it work, and it was so nice just walking around in the forest today, because my daughter's mum, you know, she grew up in Greece for a while, you know, and they've still got olive groves in Greece, their family. And, you know, so she's into this. She's into what the Greeks call horta, bush tucker, you know, like, so it's in her nature, you know. And I'm really glad that we got to do that today. Like, it was just really nice. You know, when I came back up, my daughter was playing with her friends. They were not being minded by one of the uncles. And my daughter's like, wow, guys, look what my mum and my dad got. You'll see the thumbnail for this thing. You'll be like, wow, that was pretty good. I was very happy. Oh, wow. Wow. Ask me. No bullshit. Say, Trev, what's the texture like? Remember, like, you know, a slippery jack is a slippery mushroom. So you peel it, you cook it. What is the texture like? I'm going to tell you what the texture's like. The texture is like, you know, when you get salt and pepper squid, or really nice calamari rings that aren't, like, you know, boot hard, but they're not as soft as butter either. That is the texture. So this is our video on I'm going to try and get the screen to go on again, or it might not. Oh, it won't go back on. I wanted to tell you how many minutes that took in absolute real time. Oh, that. It's like a really meaty texture. Oh man, that is the meatiest. I'll turn this water pump off so we can talk. That is the meatiest, like, texture mushroom I've ever had. Wow. What a fantastic thing to do. Like, isn't it beautiful to be able to do this stuff and live like this? You can't. You can't believe just how nice this is and how much these meaty mushrooms make this meal. There's one of the pieces there. I'm sold. I am completely, utterly sold. That mushroom, that is a bang out awesome, solid 10 out of 10 mushroom. So if you're a vegetarian and you're going to cook a meal and you know a bloke like me is going to turn up, if you put that in there, I'd be happy. I'd be feeling like I'm full, satisfied, you know? Not like I've just had a little graze, but like I've actually like bit and chewed and munched and eaten a meal. It's really, I'm so glad I did this. Yesterday I did the best walking, foraging, prepping talk I ever did in my life. There was about 50 people there at Lake Bowack with the 832 muster. It was phenomenal. It was the best I've ever done. And I was spewing after it, which means like I was disappointed. I was like, crap, I should have got somebody to film that. That was the best, most concise, logical talk I've ever done. That's embraced so much in one thing. And then today I was like, we're going to do some filming on mushrooms. When I knew I was going to go. And I'm so glad, because in this video I'm going to tell you pretty much, you know, within a kilometre where you can go. It's only about an hour's drive out of Melbourne. So Dalesford is where the hot springs are. So this afternoon when I left and came back here to go fix some porta potties and stuff with one of my mates, my daughter and her mum, they went down to these springs and then they collected mineral water, which they said was really beautiful. So I'm just in heaven. Like, I'm really in heaven. I'm going to make a cup of chai tea. I'm going to cook some stuff for my dog. My dog used to eat dog food. She never used to like it. She I didn't agree with her system very much, but that's what I used to fed her. And then when I did that challenge with Eric against Mr. Beast, Eric's personal trainer Alex looked after my dog for a few days while Eric and I were out on Kangaroo Island and out in the desert and stuff filming. And when I came back, my dog wouldn't eat dog food anymore. She's like, nah, I'm a YouTube dog now. I eat good stuff. It's so satisfying. I love it when I feel this good. I just feel good. I've got good friends. I'm sticking up for them and trying to help them with their woes with local government overreach. My daughter's mum and I, though we broke up many years ago, we really respect each other and we try and co-parent as beautifully as we can for our daughter. My daughter loves me. I love my daughter. I got good friends. I got a good job. I got good workmates. I got a nice farm. I'm a Christian, so I know God's looking out for me and trying to, you know, like that porter wheel I got. That was a bargain. Bargain. That's not just luck. That's God come. You need one of those, Trev. Look at these mushrooms. I can't. You got to try it. You got to try it and treat. I don't want you to even forget what this is. Right. That's right. An $8 ready to go chicken and bacon carbonara from Aldi, ready to go. And all I did was just add a little bit of salt, and as you saw, a little bit of a mountain pepper from Tasmania. If you haven't got that, just try a little bit of white pepper or a little bit of cracked pepper, just to give it a bit of zing. Cook it up in butter. Like if I sat at a restaurant and they charged me $30 for that, because remember, I'm a prepper. I mean, you might pay $60 for it because it's got, you know, wild forage mushrooms. But for me, if I paid $30 for that, I'd be like, that's okay. I'm really satisfied. I'm full. It was delicious. It was amazing. I got to try something I haven't eaten before. You got to do it. You got to go foraging. You got to go. You got to go. Make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you're dead set certain about what you've got. If you've got an iPhone or something, not that I do, but if you do, you know, I'm sure there's apps that can help you identify things. Just make sure you're super certain, because you're either going to hallucinate or die if you get the wrong ones. But I'm just going to make a cup of chai, and I'm going to put on a jumper. I'll put on the jumper now. Oh man, it is. Hey Eric, I improved your jumper a little bit. It's got my logo on there now too. If you're an Eric fan, this is the #1 in the whole series in extra large. And he gave my daughter Georgia, he gave her the #1 too. I'm going to make a cuppa. I'm going to feed my dog. I'm going to go outside. It's a beautiful starry night. And I'm just going to go and talk with God. And I'm just going to thank God, you know, just for like always keeping an eye out for me and being the good father, you know. You get a bit of discipline, you get a bit of love, you know, but the balance is pretty good. It's not like you got the crazy dad that just scares the living shit out of you and, you know, doesn't help you actually get back on track or anything really. God's looking out for me, and I know it, I feel it, I see it. And I've got to go to work tomorrow, which is okay. I like my job. It's not the most amazing job I've ever had, but you know, I've done scuba diving jobs and ran backpackers and worked on tugboats for a bit and driven big machinery on mines. I've done all sorts of jobs. Definitely better than cleaning, pressure cleaning diesel tanks in submarines, which I did for 28 days with my friend Ben Hatchell. But I got to go to work tomorrow. But realistically, honestly, this is what I want to do for a full-time gig on this planet, is showing people things and showing people the nicest things and just becoming even a better version of myself. So hopefully that's part of God's plan, is for me to do stuff like this, because if I can eat meals like that with mushrooms like that every day, I'll be a happy pumpkin. So I'm going to go put on the kettle. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I promise you I'm going to put more effort into actually videoing these things, trying to edit these things so that they make sense and it's entertaining to watch. And like I say, over all these years, I've been the most interviewed doomsday prepper in Australia for about 5 or 6 years. But I've been doing it. I haven't been filming it or whatever. I'm just, you know, I do here and I go there and I do that, and then somebody rings me up and says, hey, there's some of these, you want that? I'm like, oh yeah, okay. You know? But now I've got to stop and take the time. Hello? Come here. Come here. You want to say hello? Come here, you big puppy. Say hello, everybody. Mwah. Time for dinner? You hungry? You hungry, doggo? What you gonna have? Huh? Al explored you, didn't he? He trained ya. He trained ya. Rightio. Nighty night.